Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophie if you are new here, and today's video is going to be a medical assisting related question and answer. I asked you guys over on my Instagram medical assisting related questions and you guys came through. I have like about 20 questions. I think some of them are repeats or worded very similarly, but I just took screenshots of all of them. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. So the first question, I have hair in my mouth, is do you see yourself wanting to be an MA the rest of your life or advancing your career to something more? And this is a hard question and I get it a lot and I just don't know. For now, I'm content being a medical assistant. I've been one for just over a year, so it hasn't been that long. I know long term, like 10, 20, 30 years from now, I don't want to be a medical assistant. I just can't see myself doing like this type of work the rest of my life. But for the next, 5 years, I can see myself still doing it. I also don't know if I see myself advancing to nursing. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Nursing school is really hard and I am not good at school. I don't love school. I would love to be a nurse, but I don't know if I have what it takes to become one, which is self-doubt, but at the same time, like, I'm just being realistic with myself. The next question is cons of being an MA, and for the most part, I have a whole video, I believe, on, well, I do have a whole video on pros and cons of being an MA. I'll link that video down below. Fellow MA here, have you thought about transferring to another specialty? And for those of you who do not know, I work in an OBGYN clinic and I've only worked there. I had my clinicals there and then I got hired on, so I don't really know any other specialty. If I were to leave OB, I would probably go to family practice or peds. I don't really have any interest in any other specialty at this time. The next question is favorite thing about being an MA, blood draws, injections, wound care. And personally, I don't do any blood draws. At the clinic I work at, there is an in-clinic lab where phlebotomists work, which is nice because I don't really like drawing blood like I did in school, but I haven't done it since school. Injections, I don't mind like giving them, but there's so much like paperwork that comes with them. Not paperwork, like charting. And I'm like, I don't like charting all this stuff. I just like, I don't really like charting about the injections. It's a lot, like the NDC number, the expiration date, where you gave it, like all this stuff. I'm like, I'd rather just give the shots and be done, but I know that's not how it works. And then wound care, and the only wounds I ever see are C-section scars, like if someone had a wound vac, and I don't love those. Like, it's kind of cool taking the staples out and like cleaning it, but that's all I really see. Was it hard to get to know everyone when you were the new person? Lucy wants to leave. Personally, for me, it was not, just because I am a very outgoing person. I hate awkwardness, so like when I was on my first day of clinicals, like I knew I was going to be there for 6 weeks, or is it 6 weeks? I think 6 weeks or 9 weeks or something. I was like, I'm going to get to know these people. Like, I'm going to go introduce myself to everybody. Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm the MA student. Like, nice to meet you. And it helped me because then when I started my job there, I knew everyone. I knew the doctors. I knew the receptionists. And then, so whether you're starting clinicals or your job, just introduce yourself, because then people won't be like, oh, she's kind of standoffish. Like, we don't, like if you're new, like even if you're really nervous, just pretend like you're not, and then people will like be like, hey, come sit with us in the break room, or just like things like that. My least favorite thing to do as an MA, there's nothing that I like dread doing. Charting on like silly things like injections, they're not silly, like, don't get me wrong, like I know it's important, and if it's not charted, it basically didn't happen in the eyes of like medical world. So I honestly don't think there's anything I don't like doing. I'm trying to think here. I hate switching the table paper on the exam tables. I hate it, and I also hate starting new sanitation wipes because I can never get the little thing through the hole. So those aren't really like important things, but like that's all I can think of. Like I hate changing table paper. I despise it, and I feel like I'm the only person that ever changes table paper in the entire clinic. How would you decide between becoming a medical assistant versus an RN? Love your videos. Well, thank you. I love that people like love my videos because that's how I am with like other people, and to me I don't feel like I'm a YouTuber or anything like that, but like people love my videos. Like that's so cool to me. Okay, there's a few different deciding factors, like kind of where you're at in your life. When I went to school for MA, I thought I would be moving with my husband, but obviously that didn't happen. So like I kind of was like, okay, like I'll go to school for a year and then I'll have a job and I'll live with him, yada yada yada. Where if you're like fresh out of high school and you're like, I kind of want to be an RN, like go to school for nursing. If it's too hard, if you don't like it, you can always like drop out and then go for MA or something else. Like, but if you really don't know if like the medical field's for you, I suggest going to MA first because it's a great stepping stone. Get some classes out of the way, get experience, get your foot in the door. I mean, MA school is like 9 months to 2 years, like whether you get a certificate or a technical or an associate's, where for nursing you can either get like your associates or your bachelor's. So honestly, there's so many different routes you can go. Like you can go for MA, work as an MA while you're going to school for nursing. Like it's such a personal preference. Like there's no right or wrong way, I feel like. What other medical office do you think about working at? Oh, I kind of answered that one already, but probably peds or family practice. Or like a geriatric clinic, just because like I have a special place in my heart for the elderly. Like I worked at a nursing home and I flippin' loved it. So I guess geriatrics. But I don't think they really have geriatric clinics around where I live. Not that I can think of. Someone asked the scariest / most nerve-wracking, sorry, I read that wrong, nerve-wracking experience. I guess nothing, not that like nothing scares me, but like I handle like stressful situations pretty well. If someone like if someone passes out, which happened, I just got done giving somebody their, what did I give them? Their depot injection, so their birth control shot, and she was a young girl, well like 18 I think, but it was her first time going to an appointment alone, and she asked for like her immunization record because she was going to college, and like I was talking to her about school and everything, and like she seemed fine. Well, as she's checking out to schedule her next appointment, she passes out in the waiting room, and I freaked out because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just gave this girl an injection, and I'm thinking in my head, did I give her the wrong one? Which I didn't. Like, and she was fine, she just didn't eat all day, and then she was nervous, and then she literally just passed out. And I sat with her, got her food, water, took her blood pressure multiple times, just like sat with her in the waiting room. So like it was kind of scary because I thought I made a mistake, but like, and then she puked, which like puke doesn't bother me too bad. Like I don't love it, like don't get me wrong, I'm not like I'll take care of it, but yeah, so that was kind of like scary in a sense. But like for the most part, working in a clinic, no one's like, nothing traumatic happens usually. All right, did you like working in an OB clinic? So I still work in the OB clinic and I love it. I don't think I would fit in with any other clinic as well as I do with OB, just because I love that these patients they're coming back every 4, every 2, every week. for their pregnancy. You get to know them, you get to know their spouses and their kids, and it's like, I like building the relationships. That's one of my favorite parts of being an MA. Obviously, like peds, you see the kids grow up and family, like people come back every year, but yeah, I like working in OB, and I work in like a specialty in OB, which I think I've mentioned before. It's called maternal fetal medicine, so I see the high risk pregnancies, and I work with a peritonologist, which is the high risk doctor, but I just say OB because it's in the OB clinic. We're just kind of like a little special T section in the clinic, which is confusing. Any tips for the NHA exam? I have it in 2 weeks and I'm very nervous. Okay, I have a whole video on the NHA exam. I have 2 of them, explaining how I failed and then explaining how I passed, so I can link them for you guys down below. So yeah, I took the test twice and I failed both times, and then the 3rd time I passed with flying colors. So I just recommend studying the basics, blood draw, like order of draw, like positions. I don't even know. I talk about it more in the video. I did like research and like tried to make it as beneficial to you guys as possible. Try not to be nervous, and just go into it thinking, if I fail, it's okay. I can take it again, you know? Don't put too much pressure on you, because then unless you work well under pressure, I don't really. So I was like, just go in there with like a positive attitude. Be like, yeah, I know everything that's going to be on this test. And if I don't, then I'll take it again. Any suggestions for not shaking while drawing blood in MA school? I'm probably not a good person to ask this, because I was ready to go when it came to blood draws. I don't know why. Needles have never scared me. I've never been the kid that had to get tied down while they got a shot or anything. I actually would watch my blood get drawn when I was younger, and I still do. But if I was nervous, I would probably just remind myself it's just school, it's just your classmate, nothing terrible is gonna happen, and no one's gonna be mad at you if you mess up. The worst thing that could happen is you hurt them a little bit with the poke, but you'll be fine, and hopefully your instructor is watching right there and is ready to save the day if something happens. But just know you know what you're doing. It's not that hard, so don't put too much pressure on it. What are my work hours? So I work Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 4. Sometimes 7:30 to 3:30. It depends. If I get lunch, if I get a lunch, a good solid 30-minute lunch, I stay till 4. If I work through lunch, I try to get out by 3:30, because they don't like when we go over our 8 hours. Sometimes I do, sometimes I get less, depending on the physician I work with, his schedule. A lot of times he'll be like, I have to get out for an appointment by 3:30 today, so we're all out of there by 3:30, or sometimes we have add-ons and then we're there later. Something I enjoy about being an MA, I enjoy most of it. I never am I don't want to go to work, because it's a pretty people got mad at me once when I said it wasn't a stressful job, because I guess maybe their clinic is stressful. There's stressful moments, but overall, I don't go home and say, oh my gosh, that was the most stressful day of my life. In the moment, it can seem stressful when you have patients there, and then they need this and this, and you have to get a hold of this person and whatever. But for the most part, it's a clinic. It's not slow paced, but you're not in the ER, if that makes sense. That's what I mean by not stressful when I say that. But my favorite thing is probably just the connection building with patients. Someone asked how my externship was, or clinical, or whatever you want to call it. So mine was really good, obviously, because they hired me on and I enjoyed it. I worked with an MA and a nurse, like those two. They kind of trained me, showed me the ropes, and then their doctor that they work with. And that's not the same doctor I'm with now. But it was really good. I learned a lot. By the end of it, I was kind of like rooming patients alone and like doing stuff alone. I was kind of like their third helper. But that wasn't until like the very end. So I had a really good experience. I know some people don't, but honestly, if you're not having a good experience with your clinicals, externship, you need to tell the supervisor of the clinic that you're working at and your instructor, because they need to get you into a better program, because if you're not learning anything in your clinicals, then you're screwed when you go to work. Then you have to kind of start over, if that makes sense. How do I remember the order of draw? I don't. Oh my goodness. Memorize it for the test. Try to like a acronym for it. I don't even know the order of draw. I couldn't tell you. I mean, if I worked in the lab, which I don't and I don't want to, but they literally have it written down. Like, I've gotten my blood drawn in that clinic and like it's color coded and everything, and then just try to remember it for the test. Like, think of clues truly, and like if you're working in a lab, you're gonna memorize the order of draw, and if you're not, you're never gonna need it because you're never gonna use it. But just try to think of clues. I'm sure there's like YouTube videos where like they sing songs to memorize the order of draw. I mean, I don't even remember what tubes are used for what, like, and what additives and everything, because the saying don't use it, you don't use it, you lose it is very true in my case. And there's a ton of stuff I've learned in being an MA that I didn't know anything before. Like actually working, like you don't learn it in school. So that's kind of stressful. Not really stressful. Just kind of annoying that you don't learn it in school, if that makes sense. What is the hardest thing about being the MA relating to both the job and the schooling? Okay, well, to start for schooling, school is just, it's always been hard for me. I'm dyslexic. Like, I have a terrible memory when it comes to like memorizing things I need to know. Like, I have a really good memory when it comes to people's names and what I wore for the first day of school in 2nd grade. Like, I could tell you that, but like logical things that need to make sense don't make sense. So I have to like train my brain to think of things in a different way that don't make sense to anybody else. So just learning to like find what works for you. So school was just hard, but it wasn't impossible. I say if I can get through MA school, anybody can. If I can pass the exam, anybody can, because like, you guys, I've always been so organized when it comes to school. Like, I have everything planned out, color coded. Like, I always get the help I would need, but like, I just do really poorly on exams and stuff. So exams were really hard in MA school because it's a lot of information in a short amount of time. But again, if I can do it, anyone can. And then like the hardest part of actually being an MA, honestly, there's a new challenge every day. It's hard, but it's not like super hard. I'm struggling the most with time management and stress relief during the process. Tips. So like 10 out of 10 recommend a planner. You need a planner and you need different colored pens for every class you're in. So if you're in a lab class, use green. If you're in medical terminology, use blue. Like, and literally just write down your assignments in the color, write everything down, cross it off when it's done, get extra help with your instructor if you need it. And then for like stress relief, like give yourself, okay, I'm like the queen of stress. Like, I get stressed so easily, so I could probably talk about this one for like 10 minutes. Okay, so most likely if you're stressed, you're also like working, because I worked all through MA school and like it was stressful. Like, you want to hang out with your friends, you want to spend time with your family, you need to work so you can afford school, like all these things. So like dedicate time. If you need to like literally write out a schedule for the day, like 7 a.m. wake up, class, 8 to 11 lunch, 11 to 11:30, like write it out. Give yourself breaks. Give yourself a 15-minute break. Say social media, like you need to give your mind a break. Give yourself 30 minutes at the end of the night to do a face mask and take a shower and like decompress from the day. So everyone handles stress differently, but for me, like taking time to myself is like number one when I'm stressed. Like, okay, just stop and like watch a show on Netflix, even if it's 25 minutes, like, and then you can like, don't get into the cycle of like, oh, I'll just watch another show. You know, you need to be self-disciplined and be like, okay, I'm done. Now let's study for an hour. And then I can eat a snack and just things. Like, you literally just have to like self-discipline yourself. And then once school is over and now like I don't have school to worry about, like I still have that self-discipline. Like, I'm like, okay, I need to do this. And if I get off of that track, I feel really like crappy about myself. I'm like, I've been so lazy, like I feel like crap now. So it's kind of like you train yourself and then you'll just always be like that. Okay. Someone said, is the pay bad? It's not like great. People always ask me how much I get paid, and like I don't think I can mention that just because of like where I work. I don't think you can really disclose that information, but I'll give you a range. It's between like $10 and $20 an hour. Kind of like right in there. And that's just being an MA for a year. Obviously every year or 2 or 3 you'll get a raise, hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, and if you don't, like, you need to fight for yourself and be like, yo, when am I getting a raise or I'm getting out of here? And then I have someone who asked me about the stress relief. She also said, I have 3 exams and 2 quizzes all before September ends, and she's in her 2nd semester. So exams seem so daunting because they are, but like if you just set the time aside and study them and get them done, the relief you feel when they're done is like no other relief. Like hitting submit on exams is like the best feeling in the world. So just think of like the end goal. Like, oh, there's a bug on my wall. I'm the type of person, I just need to tell myself like, okay, in a week from now you're not gonna have to worry about any of this. So just like take it day by day, take it hour by hour, and just like channel your inner like focus, if that makes any sense. And then any tips for students with 1 semester left? And just stay focused, stay motivated, stay dedicated. Like, you're so close, you can see the finish line. And yeah, don't put too much, I always say, don't put too much stress on yourself. When you put stress on yourself, your life becomes stressful, and no one likes when life is stressful. I mean, there are certain instances where like stress is good, but like when your life is stressful, that's not a healthy lifestyle, you know? So now I actually got through all the questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something. I feel like whenever I answer these questions, I'm like talking to you guys. So definitely comment down below if you have any other questions. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at sophia.d.dries. And I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video and share it with a friend if you found it helpful. That helps me so much. It helps with the YouTube algorithm getting me up there on the medical assistant searches, so then I can continue knowing you guys are enjoying them, and then I can continue filming more and putting more MA content out there for you guys. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. It's Sunday. I'm probably gonna try to get this edited and uploaded up today. This outro is becoming like 2 minutes long, so bye guys.